Protecting Consumers, Week 6, Video 1. Our purpose now is to start to focus on how consumers need to be protected in the marketplace against unfair practices. What we're going to discuss is the Federal Trade Commission. We're going to look at things that they do to provide fairness in the marketplace. We're going to talk about some laws that protect consumers. And we're also going to take a look at the consumer protectionisms that are in place. So, the Federal Trade Commission, its mission is to prevent the business practices that are anti-competitive or deceptive. It's about understanding and helping the consumer make some good choices and not be fooled by a business. The goal is to protect consumers. It is also to maintain a level playing field for competition to participate and to also allow that, or to keep the anti-competitiveness in place where we might start to see some antitrust activity. And it's about advancement of performance of both businesses, people, and management. So let's take a look at a consumer and put a definition to them. It's about a person. And it's a person who has in turn incurred some debt, whether it's for whatever purpose, be it personal or for household. The consumer protections primarily through Federal Trade Commission. Now, as we start to think about this, it is in the business of trying to prohibit those unfair, deceptive acts where businesses may mislead or lie or do things that prevent a customer from having a choice. Also note that what comes out of the FTC is an advisory opinion. It is not a law. Laws are only created by the government as far as doing it through Congress. So it is statutory in nature. They do provide guidelines for industry to operate, and they do have some rules and regulations. But again, they're not laws. When a company has been involved in some misguided or deceptive practice, they can levy a fine. And when you see a $10,000 fine per violation, that can become rather costly. I remember clearly Sears and Roebuck at the time had made some deceptive practice activities, and at $10,000 a fine, there were roughly 2,000 people that were involved in this action, and they had to pay millions of dollars to settle. Additionally, the FTC can require a company to do a corrective ad. Corrective advertising means to do a retraction or publish the correct information, which means added expense to a business who may have put out some deceptive information. Additionally, they can have an advice to rescind a contract. So we've talked about contracts and we know how they can be voided. Where a FTC violation occurs, they can seek to have a judgment court ordered to have a contract rescinded. They can also advise that the consumer be refunded their money and also paid for any damages incurred. So the point that we're trying to make with the FTC is as they watch or oversee activities that go on in the marketplace, they are there for the consumer benefit and protection. Now, some things that we need to also be mindful of when it comes to how a consumer would interpret what is being said. And we see this idea again resonate on the reasonable consumer. What would a reasonable person do and or think? We've had discussions previously about expressed or implied information in a contract. The same holds true. thinking about how this is so closely aligned with an oral contract. The misrepresentation and fraud statutes that we talked about. So here, the FTC would look and see, are the businesses really trying to give a false impression of what would happen or occur with the acquisition of this product or service? They also look to see, was it a material factor? If they said something in the promotion that was, this really doesn't, it's not a big deal, then the FTC is not going to step in. They look on a material fact, something that might get to the base of causing a potential consumer to make a decision to acquire. That would be materiality. And now it kind of puts the business in the position of having enough evidence or documentation to prove that their claim is true. So I guess the challenge would be, take a walk through a store, and as you look at the products that are available for sale, and if there's claims that, oh, it whitens, it brightens, it cleans, all of these things that are almost miraculous in their nature, it has to have some evidence behind it in order for the business to put that information on the label. Today, the FTC, it is at, and I'll use the term whim, of the President and Congress. Because since they are not in the business of writing laws, they are basically reacting to the tone of the Congress and the President. The FTC does have some discretion in determining what is deceptive, but going back to the idea of saying that it is what a reasonable person would assume really stands the test of time. Additionally, the FTC does oversee equal credit, fair credit, and truth in lending issues. Let's go to a discussion.